Hello, Dallas Cowboys fans. Welcome into another Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz right here on FanStream Sports. I'm IndyCarTim, your host. Thank you for popping on with us and helping grow this show so other Cowboys fans can see it. Please like, share, comment, do all of that good stuff. The Cowboys, a happy car drive home after beating the Eagles 24-21 at AT&T Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Big win. And, you know, the way that you went about it, so reminiscent of week one, right? That Thursday night game that the Cowboys were right there. Had it not been for a CeeDee Lamb drop, by the way, we saw some of those again tonight, then the Cowboys might have won in week one. And we might have been talking about a sweep tonight, potentially. But it doesn't matter. Cowboys are now 5-1. As they get to 500, the Eagles fall to 8-3, which means if the Rams beat the Buccaneers on Sunday night, as that game is about to kick off as we record, the Rams will find themselves in first place in the NFC. Who would have thunk that as the season started when we were hearing rumors of 38-year-old Matt Stafford dealing with a potentially career-ending back injury? Whatever happened to that? That dude's becoming an ageless wonder. But, of course, Dallas native Matt Stafford, think the good thoughts for him. Cheer on those Rams if you're a Matt Stafford fan, just except for when they play the Cowboys. But this game, really the tale of two halves, kind of like we saw in week one. The Cowboys let the Eagles run all over them in the first half, and then the defense finally finds its footing. In the second half, you held the Eagles scoreless, just like you did, I believe, in week one. I think that was the situation in week one. It was a long time ago now for me, for my brain, with a potential opportunity to win it at the end of the game. We had the rare Brandon Aubrey miss from, I believe it was 51 yards. But it did not matter. The Cowboys come back and win one of the biggest comebacks in franchise history. I didn't see the last time that it happened. I think it's happened 2 or 3 times in franchise history. Don't have that data in front of me. I apologize. But you have the internet. Go chat GPT it or whatever it is that you boys do with your computers. But yeah, this game really went the way of week one. And, you know, this time the Cowboys, though, figure out a way to pull it out on top. And, you know, I'm still cautiously excited, I guess, about the season. I did not like the way this game started. Nobody did. If you're a Cowboys fan, you don't like the miscommunication, especially at home. You don't like the slow start. You don't like the penalties. The Eagles were dealing with some injuries on the offensive line, most notably to all-world right tackle Lane Johnson. And you had Fred Johnson in the game, who I thought the Cowboys really took advantage of. I know he had a couple of penalties in the game, and I thought they were able to pressure. You just get one sack on Jalen Hurts all night, officially, I believe, is the final tally. But lots of pressures and lots of disruptions in the backfield. Unfortunately for Jalen Hurts, that doesn't mean a lot for him when he's able to use his legs and get out of pressure and run for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 yards, which he does frequently. It's part of his game. Regardless of whatever issues the Eagles are having internally, and we know there are issues. We've heard of the issues. We've seen the manifestation of those issues on the sideline from time to time. May have seen a little bit of it tonight. But overall, the Cowboys walk into halftime 21-7, and you felt not quite so bad about it at 21-7 as the Cowboys score late. Then get the ball and score in the third, and you hold the Eagles scoreless the entire second half. You're able to move the ball. This thing, boys and girls, the Cowboys not fixed by any stretch. Yes, you beat the Eagles. Yes, they're a much better team, I believe, than you are on paper. And Dak had the game of his life, I thought. I think Dak has shifted his mentality into another gear at this point of the season. I think Dak's sick of the close game losses. I think Dak is sick of the drops. I'll be quite honest. After week one, after CD's horrible game, I went on a rant that has now made its way around the internet, and it got tagged back to me on X tonight as CeeDee Lamb had another horrible game with just inexplicable drops. And in that rant after that Thursday night game that may have had a little bit to do with some vodka drinks I had during that game, but I remember saying, don't anyone ever tell me ever again that CeeDee Lamb is an elite receiver in this game, because he is not. And he's picked his season up a little bit, but tonight reminded me once again, don't ever tell me CeeDee Lamb is an elite receiver in the NFL, because he is not. There's no way. Trade CD, sign George. I'm in that camp now, and you know what? I'm not a George Pickens fan. I covered the Steelers when he was there. Not a fan. He's a different guy here, but I feel like that guy somewhere is still somewhere in there for George Pickens. And I think if the Cowboys re-sign him, and he is here for the next 3 years plus, we will see some of that old George Pickens from Georgia, from Pittsburgh. But I don't even care. I want him. I don't want CeeDee Lamb. You've already paid CD, so you got to dump that somehow if you're going to pay George. That's a subject for another podcast. I've had enough of CeeDee Lamb. I'm done. As a matter of fact, I believe my words in that specific podcast were F you, CeeDee Lamb. And I stand by that now after this game. He is not made up for his inexplicable transgressions. It's not like a preacher this season. I'm done. Frankly, I'm done. I've been done. This game just solidified that. But the Brandon Aubrey kick of 42 yards as time expired pushes the Cowboys on top as they rally from a 21-point deficit, as we mentioned, in a mistake-filled game across the board. The Cowboys converted on their third tie-breaking chance of the fourth quarter to extend Prescott's home winning streak against NFC East opponents to 19 in their first game at AT&T Stadium since the death of defensive end Marshawn Kneeland. And how cool was it to see Kneeland represented all around the stadium and on the Cowboys sideline? His girlfriend and family were in the stadium watching the game. I thought that was a very sweet gesture by the Cowboys and by the players to keep Kneeland part of the team. His jersey, of course, is still hanging in the locker room and will continue to do so at least through the end of this season. And it was really good to see. It was a good feeling. And I thought Kevin Burkhardt said it nicely at the end of the game after Aubrey made the kick, that, somewhere Kneeland's looking down and smiling. And there's no question. The Eagles, though, are still in good shape to be the first repeat winners in the NFC East since they won 4 in a row from 0-1 to 0-4 behind Donovan McNabb and, of course, Andy Reid. But their offense reverted back to the unit that has frustrated A.J. Brown. He's been very vocal and yet not vocal at the same time somehow. He had a big hand in jumping out to that 21-0 lead, but really was relegated to nothing in the second half. I know he had at least one catch there in the second half, but it was inconsequential. He was shut down, just like most of the rest of the offense was for the Eagles, just like Saquon Barkley was for the Eagles. And this is what Dallas needed at this point of the season, I believe, boys and girls. I would love to hear what you guys thought of this game. Find me on social media at IndyCarTim on X, Instagram, Facebook, all of the places. We can go over some quick numbers here for you if you just don't want to look them up. I usually don't do too many stats here because anybody can go find those if you want, unless there's something that screams at you. Dak Prescott, incredible, 23 of 36, 354 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Javonte Williams, 20 carries, 87 yards. Dak, and here's something I was going to bring up about Dak's mentality, I think, changing at this point of the season and him really being tired of losing, maybe being tired of the drops, is the touchdown that he scored, the rushing touchdown that he scored. If you watch the play unfold, you had Javonte Williams off in the right flat. That was clearly the the escape pass, right? That was his dump off for him should nobody else be open, which was the case. And there's a lot of times, if you go back and watch the play, Dak never even looked at Javonte Williams off to his right. Never even looked over there. He was looking in the end zone. Nobody was open. And, in games past, in weeks past maybe, in years past, Dak would have just taken the easy escape route, tossed it off, and, Williams might have gotten 10, 12 yards, would have set the Cowboys up nicely to score. Dak never even looked over there. He just tucked that ball and he ran, and he was not going to be stopped until he got into the end zone. The hop over the defender to get into the end zone, I think just shows the grit. And look, to be honest, guys, Dak is not a run threat anymore after the injuries, the surgeries, the hamstring, the ankle, broken, dislocated, everything that's happened to him. He is not a threat really anymore. That doesn't mean he doesn't run. I'm just saying teams don't game plan to stop Dak Prescott's ground game. All right. And the fact that he can still pull one of those out maybe once or twice a game, I think says a lot about his competitiveness, his fire, and where he is in his career as he's into his 30s and, potentially time limited here, especially with that big contract. But could not be more proud of that dude. I thought he had a great game. Jalen Hurts, 27 of 39, 289 yards, 1 touchdown. Both quarterbacks sacked once, as I mentioned. Jalen Hurts did carry the ball 7 times, scored twice on the ground. He had 33 yards, which Cowboys containment pretty well in the second half. Barkley, 10 carries, 22 yards. Now, he did have 7 catches for 52 yards, but that 22 yards on the ground, and he was the leading rusher other than Jalen Hurts. That tells you right there that the Cowboys defense stepped up, I think, big time with that run game. With Quinnen Williams, who I think made another impact on this game. Logan Wilson, you didn't hear his name called too many times, but I think that he had an impact on this game in pass coverage. I didn't pay too close attention to him, but the few times that I did, he was in the right place at the right time. And I think both of those moves, I think, are already paying dividends for Jerry Jones. So A.J. Brown, 8 catches, 110 yards, 1 touchdown, virtually nothing in the second half, though. That was all in the first half after this Cowboys defense clamped down. So, again, let me know on social media or in the comment section here under the video what your favorite parts of the game were, who your player of the game. I'm going with Dak Prescott. Let me know your player of the game. Let me know, does this help the Cowboys? Will this propel the Cowboys over the next few weeks as we can glance at the schedule? KC now here on Thursday night for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, early. Happy Thanksgiving. And then you're at Detroit, home against Minnesota, home against the Chargers, at Washington, and at New York, the Giants, to end the season. KC looks gettable right now. I know they won today, but they did not look good throughout most of that game if you got to watch the Indianapolis-KC game. Detroit looks gettable. They struggled against the Giants in Detroit. So, and it took a long touchdown pass reception score in overtime to win the game. And then Minnesota's Minnesota. Who knows what they are? Gettable. Chargers, gettable. At Washington, gettable. At the Giants, gettable. So with this win, you're setting yourself up nicely for a potential playoff run. That may not excite everybody because here we go, another one and done with this team. You know what? I would still like to get to the playoffs. I'm not ever going to root for my team to not make the playoffs. It's not that big of an impact on where you draft unless you're drafting in the top 10. So I just don't think it's that big of a deal. But those are my thoughts on Cowboys Eagles. I would love to hear what you guys think right here on the Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz here on FanStream Sports and the Fish Report YouTube channel. Appreciate everybody popping in here. We will come back and preview Kansas City before Thanksgiving and maybe talk about some of the things that we saw after the All-22 viewing that I will do on Monday after a minor surgery that I have to remove a kidney stone. You guys ever passed a kidney stone? I've passed 3 and I've had surgery for 2 others. And this one they said they can't go get. So I can't pass. I have to go get it. So I'm going in Monday morning. Get this kidney stone out of me. And then we'll come back and watch the All-22 while we recover under those great medications. And who knows what I'll find on drugs watching the All-22 of Cowboys Eagles. But I will come back and tell you what I found right here on FanStream Sports. Until next time, boys and girls, we will see you.